Hello and welcome to another 50 match summary. Every week I take a deck here on YouTube that you guys vote for on the poll. And this week I think Esper Midrange actually won the vote, but it came in a little bit too late. So usually by Tuesday I've already selected the deck to start running the matches because I have to play the 50 throughout the week. And so at the time Jeskai Control was leading just slightly above the Esper Midrange. And I decided, last week I ran Jeskai Control and it was kind of a negative experience. I played it for 6 hours and I didn't even get to the 50 matches and it just didn't feel very good. And part of that was because the deck was not as good in the control matchup. So this one is taking a different approach. We're ditching the Zurgo and Ojutai, which is particularly weak to counterspells. And instead we're bringing in Jace the Perfected Mind. And this at least gives us a mill option to try to out-mill our opponent if we're up against another control. And I really like Jace the Perfected Mind against mono red as well. Just because, like I've mentioned, they can't afford to attack it, so it's kind of removing a blocker. And then if they do attack it, then it's gaining 6 life, and that's absolutely amazing. Running a second copy of Celestis, which I've liked. Sometimes it's weird when you have this already on the board and then you have one in your hand, but then you can always discard it as one of your cards, right? But this gives you some really good filtering to help hit your threats against your opponent. Other than that, we're just playing a bunch of Wraths. So we've got Farewell, Sunfall, Temporary Lockdown. The previous list was only running 1 Sunfall. This one's running 2, and I like having more Wraths. And the previous list was running 4 Temporary Lockdowns, and I like 3 because it is a problematic card against some matchups. Of course, once you drop it down to 3, then you're going to play up against a bunch of Boros Control, right? And we've got Negate in here, which has been pretty nice as an alternative, as another counterspell against other control matchups. I kind of want to see 4 copies of March of Otherworldly Light, because the downside to running Jeskai is that you can't afford to play the Demolition Fields or the Field of Ruin, and you can't play Mirix yourself. So you're kind of weak to lands, at least compared to Azorius Control just straight up. And March of the Otherworldly Light is your answer to that, right? You can also hit things like Urabrask's Forge, problematic artifacts in like mono red. And then we've got 2 copies of Soul Partition. And I've got mixed emotions about Soul Partition. I kind of want them to just be Get Lost, right? Especially like Get Lost and then Temporary Lockdown to wipe away their map tokens is kind of like one of those synergies. Soul Partition works nicely if you bounce like a token. It doesn't hit a man land because it has to be a non-land permanent. Being able to bounce your opponent's planeswalkers and things like that, like it's been okay. But a lot of times I feel like I just want it to be a Get Lost. And then we've got the 4 copies of the No More Lies. Everything's fine there. 4 copies of the Wandering Emperor, which is a win condition for this deck as well. So you can go through the damage route of your Restless Anchorage and your Wandering Emperor, but this list is only running 1 Restless Anchorage. And instead is deciding to go for multiple manlands. So we've got the Restless Spire and the Restless Bivouac. And I'm not 100% sold on that either, because Restless Anchorage is like the best manland. But there's enough manland hate between the March of the Otherworldly Light and the removal of Demolition Field and Field of Ruin, things like that, that honestly I haven't felt too bad about missing it, The other thing is that against like Lightning Helix really helps us survive against mono red. And so the advantage of running Jeskai Control over Azorius Control is that you should, in theory, be better up against the mono red matchup and then still have the tools to lock down a control matchup. So I'm going to showcase my favorite matches from the 50 and kind of see if it does any better than the previous list. So enjoy. All right, here we go. We're on the play. We have March of Otherworldly Light, No More Lies, Sunfall, Jace. We've got a Restless Anchorage. We're missing red, but we don't have red in our opener. Seems okay. So at least lets me do a turn 2 No More Lies. See what we're up against here. The one downside that I've been experiencing with this deck is other control matchups are tricky. Because it usually comes down to who draws more lands and who has more counter spells. And we're not running the Devious Cover-Ups. We're not running Make Disappears. So like a really heavy control list, I think, is slightly favored to this one. Now we're up against Boros Convoke here, which been kind of having a rough time against. Guess I'll play this out to preserve the life total since we don't need red. We can March of Otherworldly Light in response to them doing Gleeful Demolition on the blood token. I think I'm just gonna go for counterspelling the Warden. Maybe it's better to hold up the March in case they have the Gleeful Demo. But this is smart. If you are playing Boros Convoke, you know, try to draw out a counterspell before playing your Gleeful Demolition is a good line. Okay, Kumano faces Kakazan. I can live with that. Now, the question here is whether or not we keep up a Jace. We could play Jace and start removing their attackers, or we could hold up a counterspell again. I think I want to try to hold up the counterspell. We only have one white source, so we can't do March and No More Lies, which sucks a little bit, because again, we're going to have that same situation where do they affect our board or not? Do they play something and then Gleeful Demo? I think they would have Gleeful Demoed last turn. So hopefully they go for like a War Leader's Call. Alright. Just trying to stall until I hit Sunfall, right? Okay. If we had double pip white, we could have done... Ah, you're late! You're late, Deserted Beach. We could have done the March to destroy it. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to toss Jace and try to get them to attack Jace. Kind of like a look over here, right? And then next turn, we've got the double pip white for Sunfall. Okay, Imidane's Recruiter. Hopefully they split some of that towards Jace. And we only take 6 damage instead of 12. If they put us to 4, we're in trouble. Okay, this is good. Because we are a long ways from milling them out. So here we hope that this is just a scoop. Nothing. And it might be, right? Because we get a 6/6. If they had gone all face here, we'd be at 4, and then like we'd be really close to dead. Okay, that kind of puts us on parity with our opponent, and we can hold up March for pretty much everything they can play. Not a whole lot of... I mean, if they play an Imidane's Recruiter, maybe it's a little risky to start... But we need to start, like, closing the game eventually. So, I think I'm on Restless Anchorage here. Hopefully they don't flash in the Recruiter guys. Okay. Tap here for a map token on Restless. Another Jace. Could be worth keeping. Could also be worth ditching. I think I'm going to ditch it. I think I'm better off trying to kill them through damage here. Yeah, that was what I was hoping that they didn't do, because now I don't have the 1 mana. If they slam like an Imidane's Recruiter here, then they just... That's tough luck. Knight Errant is pretty bad too. At least we can remove Knight Errant to Vios. 6. Oh, they whiffed on their Convoke. That's great. Okay. I think we're just going to remove Knight Errant to Vios. See if we can hold off here. I haven't played like a War Leader's Call yet. Ah, Merrick's! No! Oh, man. So now they're going to be hitting with a 3. We can play this defensively. I think we have to. I think we just have to chill. Maybe Jace was right so that I could remove a blocker over and over. Because them pumping out a 1/1 every turn is a problem. I'm gonna go for removing their creature here instead of the poison, because like we have 20 life if we think about it with poison, right? We're more likely to die from them just attacking over and over with 2, right? Because they're gonna constantly have 2 attackers. Ah, no! We need that temporary lockdown. Come on! So many lands! Okay. Create another 1/1 might. So now I'm taking 3 and I go to 2. I guess I should get rid of the non-token things because we do have the soul partitions, but this is basically game over. I can't... I mean, my top decks, I'd need something... They're going to have 5 attackers next turn, so I need temporary lockdown off the top where it's kind of a bust. Yeah, March isn't going to do it. And that's been kind of my experience with the Boros Convoke, is like, even if you get the sweeper off, that you just kind of struggle to kill them before they rebuild. I don't have another man land or anything, right? Okay. Alright, well, so that's one of the downsides with this deck, is you don't have 4 copies of the temporary lockdown. Alright, we're on the play. We have all 3 colors. We have blue-red into white, and then an untapped here on... Oh no, 2 or fewer. Play your Sea-Chrome Coast first. So here, then here. Either way, we have a turn 2, no more lies, and then into our Planeswalkers. Seems okay. And... drum roll, what are we up against? Restless Prairie. Okay. Not sure what this is. Sharp-Eyed Rookie, huh? Counterspell there. So we don't have a counterspell. I think I'm just going to run the Celestis out. Try to ramp a little bit. Gives us 5 mana next turn in case we do top deck something. Holy crap. Wow, okay. Is there a chance that we can hit that with a Wandering Emperor? Take the filtering option here. Discard the land, I think. We do want to keep hitting our land drops. Let's see if they have a way to protect this thing. Okay, so if I do no more lies, we're going to take the... That's fine. I think I want to keep my Celestis around, right? Destroy target artifact or enchantment. And then we can do the Wandering Emperor to remove Polychronos afterwards. Not on this turn, because now we don't have the 4 for Emperor. But we can we can exile it on our turn. I think there was a pause there. It's possible that they have protection. I think we should do it now while they're tapped out. If they have the royal treatment there, it would be pretty bad.
This is what you get for hurting my people.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about with the manlands being a problem. We need to find our march against the restless prairie. Again, this doesn't hit anything. We could do Jace, but then it probably just gets killed. We could pop the Celestus. We could go with the Wandering Emperor end of their turn, create 2/2. A couple of different ways we could go about this. I think I'm just going to go for the Wandering Emperor. Because if they do play a manland, like, we can use the Wandering Emperor to remove the manland, right? If they just decide to keep attacking me with the manland. Aha, another Mirrex. If they double spell, then we can ditch something like Soul Partition. What the face down card is? I think I'm okay playing the Wandering Emperor here. So we have another one. And just go with start creating some blockers.
Let your blade do the talking.
So we do have 6 mana. I kind of like Jace pay the ward. I don't know. This is an experiment.
Is wasted. You cannot win.
I guess I could have also done the Soul Partition and paid the ward.
Guards, to me.
All right. What big scary face down cards are there? You know you've been at the bottom of plat 4 for a while when you start seeing the homebrews. Oh, Aurelia's Vindicator. Okay. Destroying the tokens. Okay. Well, again, I think we just keep going for answering our opponent's threats here. Do I downcake? I could downtick Jace to mill them for 18. But then what? Oh, especially because they're going to be able to create a creature.
I'm home.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not a very good control player. Maybe I need to think things through a little bit.
You are not much of a roadblock.
Graveyard has 20. We're nowhere near having Jace actually draw anything, so... Guess I'm going this way. Because otherwise I think it's likely to get... Well... Hey, let's see. So if I uptick it, and they just attack the Wandering Emperor, I might be able to get it for 7. It's a little bit greedy, but then... It's 21? Let's see.
Beyond your comprehension.
Okay, those are good targets for Soul Partition. Oh my god, they're attacking. Yeah, I was like, we're gonna draw land. The land's out of here. Alright, well, That was the question, right? Was whether or not it was worth doing the +1 on Jace. Guess I create an attacker here.
See you later.
And
Must protect the people.
go here with this. Should have just hit them for the mill, I think.
All your hopes
Okay.
and dreams were for nothing.
Do it again. So if I had, could have hit them for like 9 more cards, which would put them at 18, puts them in striking range of Jace. So I got punished, and I got punished pretty severely. So yeah, there's definitely some questions that I have about playing this, right? It's just like, especially because I have not been doing particularly well. So I'm, feel free to leave a comment in the, below about what I could be doing better. Oh crap, did I not do Jace for the full 5? Well, other than that punt then, clearly. Okay. So clearly I was just trying to make sure that they attack Jace and not me. Clearly. Okay. Hold the phone. This could actually work out to our advantage. They do have this, though. Put him to 20, and then if I hit another Jace, we just have to stall. All right, I'm gonna pretend that I didn't screw up, and that we did the correct value for that at the beginning.
A minor setback.
And I'm just gonna try to stall.
I will shatter
Ooh, Tristani.
your mind.
So then 4, 5 plus 3, 8 damage, plus 1 to everything, right? Other creatures, so plus 2. So 10 damage. Could end up taking 10 damage here. Oh, no, plus Merrick's, okay. I think I am going to draw, if we hit Jace, is like the only card. Ooh. Yeah, no, I think I keep the March here. We can use the March for 0 on this or this. Lightning Helix does gain me life. So, again, one of the plus sides, one of the advantages to this deck is that there are a lot of fun options, right? There's a lot of different ways that you can go about it. Wait, what? What are they doing? What are they doing? Oh, to create a 1/1? Fine. Alright, now we just need to draw Sunfall. I think I do trade my manland here for the Gala Greeters. I don't know. I could be wrong as well. Maybe I'm supposed to trade it for a might. So many different options. Okay, Soul Partition gets rid of the 4/5. Then we just have to not die from mites. I can flip it and draw. It's not super important to flip yet, I don't think. Especially because I would just end up discarding it. We're gonna keep the Soul Partition here, so I think I'm just gonna go with ending my turn. If they were at 15 cards, which I think they could have been if I hadn't been greedy, then digging for Jace makes sense, right? Now, with our ability to gain life off of Celestis, maybe I'm supposed to be prioritizing Mirix higher, because this is exponentially problematic if they just keep popping out mites. So maybe the reason why I might be at 33% might not be the deck, right? It might be me. Okay, so I think we cycle here. Would have been nice last turn. Find our Jace. What's this do again? Whoa. Dear Lord, we're almost dead. So if I hadn't screwed up the Jace punt, then we could have drawn... If I had just milled Jace, I did it for 9 instead of for 18, so they would be at 8 cards right now. Still, I don't think would have mattered. Because even here, we can't play Jace, right? And we're just dead to too many things. Oh. Alright. GG's. All right, we're on the play. We have all 3 colors. We have No More Lies and Lightning Helix. We have a lot of disruption. I think this should be good. So I'm just going to lead out here with the tap land because we don't have a 1-drop anyway. And then I'm going to lead out with the Pain land here so that we do have the option to do No More Lies. It's like maybe a Control Mirror. Again, with the Control Mirror, the Lightning Helixes have not been super impressive in that situation. Gonna draw all the Lightning Helix against the Control. Having 2 No More Lies is good, though. Gotta hit another land. Gotta hit another land. F. Alright, well. This doesn't bode well for me. Memory Deluge, I think we go... No. Especially because we have to discard anyway. Block their card draw, seems okay. We're trying to answer everything that our opponent plays.
Is wasted. You cannot. We can.
Person going for the mill 3. Again, not hitting lands here is particularly bad for us. I think I get rid of the Jace though before they can do anything more there. If they activate Ink, well, okay.
The weak-minded will be educated.
These are their win cons, right? Like if they down tick Jace again, that's good for us. Yeah, okay, there you go.
Nothing could be
I think you should have done that in the opposite order.
memory.
But we're basically out of this game. Not hitting land. Temporary lockdown's probably not going to be super advantageous here. Could do the Memory Deluge, but then I think we might even just Memory Deluge to hit lands, right? So cool. All right, well, guess I'll counterspell it. If I had lands, we could hit this. If they make this to 4 toughness, it's actually kind of a problem. So hopefully they draw a land here. Dang it. And they have the Dissipate. All right. Well, that's good enough for me. I'm going to say that against the control matchup, that being this far behind on lands is no way back. I don't really want to play out 20 minutes of it, so, you know, screw happens. It's cool. Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Once again, I had to bow out a little bit early, but between the two, I just feel like Jeskai Control is not doing particularly well on the ladder, or I'm not doing particularly well on the ladder with it. That one I can say with more certainty. So we did just kind of bottom out at the, plat 4, just hit the floor and just kind of sat there. Went 12 and 26, so slightly worse than the one that I tried with the Zurgo and Ojutai, especially because on this one we also had 2 freebies. This is actually kind of like 10 and 26. It was I liked it against the control matchups as far as playability goes, right? So like we were 43% against Azorius Control. It felt a lot more like that classic Azorius versus Azorius. I do feel like you were slightly under, it was slightly in Azorius Control's favor because usually that matchup comes down to who has more counterspells. There's a little bit about like when you play it and such. I don't know if it was really that dramatic of an effect to drop Temporary Lockdown from 4 copies down to 3, but I got dominated by Boros Convoke, and I feel like Boros Convoke was hard for the other matchup as well. Control just does not like Boros Convoke. They're able to rebuild even after the Temporary Lockdown, and so dropping Temporary Lockdown down to 3 from 4 certainly did not help that matchup, and it was my most common matchup at 10 of the 38. So after that, we've got the Mono Red, and, for a control deck, I do feel like this deck did okay against Mono Red. Again, it's hard to shut them down, especially when you're on the draw. Mono White was a little bit difficult for this deck to deal with. There are a couple of threats, like Thalia is always going to be an issue for Azorius Control, and then yeah, basically Thalia. Adeline to some extent because of running the temporary lockdowns. At least this one doesn't have that problem with being bad against 3-drops because you only have 3 of the temporary lockdown instead of 4. But then I guess the rest of the field, like, it still just felt bad. I don't know if it's because a lot of the matches that I came up against were just like teched against control because of how much control there is on the meta. But I certainly, both versions, didn't feel particularly impressed with. So let me know in the comments below how you've been experiencing Azorius Control and Jeskai Control, and get good scrub. That's totally fine to say to me. I feel that. But I did feel like it was better against Azorius Control with the 4 Jaces. So at least there was that, But I miss having the Myrics. I miss having the Gleeful Demolition of just straight Azorius Control. So anyway, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break, so I won't be back to do videos next week like I usually do. And even the week after that, I won't be, but I'll be back in the beginning of April for my set review for Outlaws at Thunder Junction. And then I'll be back to doing some more of these meta reviews and 50 match summaries and all that, so hang tight. And once again, thank you so much to the Hired Guns for joining as a YouTube member. I I really appreciate it. It gives me hope that I'm headed in the right direction as far as being a Magic the Gathering content creator. So take care, everybody, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.